cover 26 leagues across the land with the most powerful 5 remaining. And they're coming around the bend starting tonight with the conference doing all they can to shake that toy poodle reputation. It's ACC night. That's right. And the captain, Mike Holland, joins me for our world famous tiers and to chop it up on whether or not this conference can claw its way back to prominence. Let's get to it. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. We're powered by the galaxy's greatest website, drroto.com. I'm your sometimes humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich, and if you don't know, now you know. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train at Dr. William Cannon on X. The show page is at One and Done CBB, WONANDDONE CBB over on X. I did it spelling, math. We don't do either of those on this show, but hey, how about it right off the top for the ACC? Follow us there. Follow me. But do yourself a favor and follow this man first. Around here, he's known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship. He does the ship, I did the train. At MC Holland 34, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, it's P5 time. What'd it do?
Yeah, I can't believe we're not even in October yet, my friend, and we're talking ACC hoops. So Riley jumping in, Snake's Eyes already in here. Darren, good to see everybody, man. Look, like if you haven't checked out the previous 26 shows, go check those out. Why not? We've been doing them for a couple of months, and I'm just excited, man. We talk about this every open. We're just excited to have another season just around the corner here, and going to be bringing a ton of content from betting. Might even do some best ball. There's going to be DFS. There's going to be news and notes. There's going to be power rankings. Like more active on the socials. We're trying to grow, Jay. So pretty exciting times here, man. I'm just excited to get this thing started and see. Also, we're probably not going to be naming every single player on every roster because there's 18 teams in this league. So if we want to keep it around 40 minutes, we're going to have to chop it up a little bit, my friend.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're just not going to give a lot of these teams too much run because, as you'll see in our graphics to come, the lowest tier is quite crowded. There's still a lot of separation as they've sort of gained that across the country. Darren hopping in right away talking who let the poodles out. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and call them the toy poodle conference, but all of a sudden now this is a 4-bid league, Mike. I mean, this is tough. This is not the strongest days of the ACC, but we're going to talk about it tonight and see if they can regain some of that power. So make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Let's get to a little bit of an overview of the ACC, Mike. Last season, they finished 5th out of 31 in Ken Palm's strength of conference. Not surprising there. Duke held off Clemson and Louisville by a game to claim yet another regular season title. And then in that conference tournament, if you remember, no Cooper Flag, no matter. They won the conference tournament title over Louisville, either way by double digits to get that double to pull it off there in the conference tournament. Last night on this channel, we talked about how the Mountain West was down to 4 bids, and tonight's no different. The ACC, a 4-bid lead, the lowest since the 2012-2013 season, Mike. So again, fighting to sort of stave off that battle, on the way down, trying to gain that relevance back. Duke was obviously good enough for a 1 seed, made it to the Final Four, and then one of the most epic collapses in the history of the Final Four that, we were in the building for. We just happened to be in the building for it down there, and we're sitting there and couldn't believe that it happened. But, obviously Houston won that game. And then otherwise in this conference, Clemson, Louisville, and North Carolina were the other 3 to make the tournament. And UNC technically got that win in the play-in game over San Diego State that we talked about last night. But not a lot of great news. I mean, except for Duke. And then even they found a way to lose that heartbreaker to Houston. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on the ACC in general? And yeah, let's get this ball rolling towards the tiers, man. What are your thoughts?
Mason saying they should have gotten 3 in, yeah, because UNC definitely got the brand love for sure. So I don't know, man. Fifth in the and I'm with Mason too. Like more teams doesn't mean a better league, and that's kind of been a problem, right? Like realignment not really helping. Like SMU, they're an okay program. Cal and Stanford just have not. I mean, they're just not helping. Or at least their first year. So problem with this league though is it's just so top heavy, and people don't respect it, right? And people hate Duke and they hate North Carolina. So it's kind of got like, hey, where are the other teams? I know, Louisville, we'll talk about them. Clemson, been hanging around the top, had a nice season. But look, man, like there's still a pretty good chance that this league's going to get someone into the Final Four because they've been doing that. They've 4 straight years had a Final Four member. So let's not act like the very top is, doesn't have the goods. And obviously Duke finished number 1 on the KenPom ratings last year, even though they had that collapse. So yeah, man, a lot to get into. So why don't we kind of dive in here?
Yeah, good stuff. Keep the live chat rolling. We love to see it. The liveliest live chat in all of college hoops, as a matter of fact, as we like to call it around here. You'll see it as we go along. We were looking forward to what the live chat was going to look like tonight on the ACC and moving forward for some of these power conferences. So make sure you keep that rolling. We love to see it. Push that subscribe button so you can hop in there as well. Over 1,581, I believe, of our closest hoop head friends. 82.
Yeah. There it is. Somebody
pushing that button. So let's keep it rolling there as we get to the world famous tiers here, Mike. And like I mentioned earlier, the low tier is a little bit crowded. Look at that. Look at that nice graphic by @FantasyNav right there. You can see the ACC popping in the back.
There's a lot of teams.
Making 8 teams fit. Looking at the show sheet saying 8 teams in the low tier. I'm like, well, looking at it, making it work, and it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic if you like good graphics. It doesn't look fantastic if you like good basketball. Let's start with Boston College and Earl Grant, man. The clock seems to be ticking for Coach Grant. They haven't been over 500 in ACC play since 08-09. That, while in my head, I want that to be 5 years ago. It's not. It's a little bit longer than that. So they got to figure it out real quick. Limited defensively, question marks at the point guard. And they don't really have that guy that can pull them across the 500 mark. So Donald Hand, solid player. If you want to pick somebody to look out for, maybe Jaden Hastings flashed some big-time potential last year, but it's going to be another long year in Chestnut Hill. And, Mike, I'm going to get the dance in before
I forgot, man. Let's go.
Before you give me the bad news here about Mark Madsen and the Cal Golden Bears, 6-14 in the conference last year, and sort of a step backwards after the offense, just crumbled.
Man, it fell apart, and we have a full roster reset. Oh, essentially a roster reset, man. You have Petrides back. He struggled to make that jump from Air Force. We'll see if a full year in, if he's able to develop his game a little bit more. ACC transfers Chris Bell, Day Ames. They're projected to start, but they're another program that's going to struggle mightily on the defensive end nightly. So I guess if we're looking for somebody, man, like jotting down 4-star shooting guard Giovanni Ruff, because what they need, man, they need like one of these young guys to kind of have a breakout season. Otherwise, it's looking pretty bleak. And then Florida State, it's time to move on from Leonard Hamilton. Wasn't pretty at the end, but it was an awesome run. And they went to Sacramento Kings assistant FSU alum, Luke Laukas, who trying to get this train back on the tracks, man. And it's pretty hard to love this first-year roster that he has. It's full of like mid-major transfers. Now they're going to try to come in here to the ACC. I do think Jacksonville guard Robert McRae, I think he can be a pretty solid player for them, but these are some big jumps, man. Kobe McGee from Drexel, Lejeune Jones from St. Bonaventure, Martin Somerville from UMass Lowell. D2 big man Alex Steen, he's kind of interesting, but I'm just expecting some lumps in year one. So could be a tough one there for Seminoles fans. And we got the Stanford Cardinal. Big props to Kyle Smith in year one. Jay, man, what are your thoughts for this upcoming year?
Yeah, finished over 500 in conference play for the first time in 7 years. But the road is about to get bumpy without Raynaud, Blakes, Sellers. There's a lot of comments right now in the chat about talking about people not walking back through that door for some of these schools. And right now, those are three big names that you will see the gaps in the games for the Cardinal for sure. It wasn't a lot of turnover, but role players like Benny Geeler, Ryan Agrawal, Chisholm Okpara, now they're going to have to be the alpha types, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have to step in there and figure it out and just sort of make it happen. Who's going to score, man? Like,
it's gonna be tough.
that's my biggest problem is who's going to score the basketball here. Torvik doesn't like him at all on offense either. They're not going to score enough to get back to that mid-level, I don't feel. I think that's the problem is the ceiling and the floor are a lot closer for me, and unfortunately for Stanford, that sort of average, that mean falls in the low tier. And then Wake Forest, the Fighting Tim Duncan, Steve Forbes program just keeps knocking on the door as a bubble team. And now, Mike, they're not even like the Ring doorbell is picking them up way far away. They're not even able to get close enough and knock.
Yeah.
Because, and I mean, you talk about guys walking out. Salas, Hildreth, and Reed are gone, along with some of their younger talent as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like this is gonna be I think it's gonna be a tough year. But Steve Forbes, I mean, he always surprises. So I don't know, it could happen. One of these 8 teams could slide into the mid, right? Like,
Feel like it's possible, man.
yeah, I
like,
feel like it's possible. Maybe, I don't know. Well, might not be, but we got forward Trayvon Spillers. Solid year. You know, he's back, 10 points, 8 boards. A year from ACC play under his belt, which should hopefully help his efficiency. I'm kind of intrigued by what Miles Colvin's going to do coming in from Purdue. He's going to get a chance to get out of that Braden Smith spotlight. He'll play next to Nate Calmese, who's coming in from Washington State. They just not a lot of outside shooting, man. Just not a lot of size to really contend on both ends, really nightly. And then Virginia Tech. I mean, to be completely honest, I thought Mike Young did an impressive job to win 8 league games with last year's roster. Once again, we're going to project them to win probably half of that based on what we see. I mean, I know Lawal's a nice player. Average 12 and a half, 7 boards. I don't know, man. Like, where's the scoring? Delaware transfer guard Isaiah Pasha. Like, oh, is that what we're doing? Jaden Shutt. Like, I know he started off at Duke. Year under his belt here with some playing time. Like that, it feels like it's asking a lot here.
Well, Pasha, Mike, is probably going to be much more of a distributor in this offense. I feel like I don't think that scoring. They're going to be able to rely on him for the scoring. Unfortunately,
yeah, there's just not a lot of guys you can rely on this roster, man. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. Georgia Tech here, man. Like I kind of forgot that they finished 500 last year, which is kind of a feat in itself because even in DFS we were like, dude, there's like no one playing tonight. Like there's like it's like fans are running the point essentially. So they had a lot of injuries and still managed to get 10 games in, man. What are your thoughts?
Well, and Coach Damon Stoudemire deserves a big pat on the back for figuring out a way to get to 500 last year. And unfortunately, he's got his work cut out for him again. Dongo's back, big man, averaged 13.4 points, 9 boards, and 37% from 3. Like, that's a great sort of that base, that building block to build around there. They're going to be super young, only a couple of upperclassmen on the roster. So maybe this is one of those, we talk about the low tier being the foundation of the conference. And maybe this is the foundational type of year where these young players really start to get those reps. And then if Coach Stoudemire can find a way to keep them on campus, right? Like in the system, then that's when a team like Georgia Tech can really take a step forward. But it's like Jaden Mustafa and Lamar Washington, who Washington transferred in from Pacific here. So that backcourt is probably going to take them as far as they're going to go this year. And they've got to figure out the shooting again, like the efficiency. Like if Washington can find a way to, 30% from 3 is not going to cut it, right? And Mustafa only 39% from the field. That's tough.
That's not good.
That's not great. So we'll see if they could get it done. How about Pittsburgh, Mike? I know Pittsburgh was in Mason's comment earlier saying that he could see them possibly jump into the mid. Jeff Capel's squad last year, kind of a disappointing season after 12 plus wins the previous 2 years in conference play.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most confident team that we'd say jump into that mid tier. But this is a whole new roster. Like Cam Corrin's back, and I don't know how effective offensively this team's going to be. The 3-point shooting projection on this team is pretty terrifying, and they don't really have any playmakers. Like I know DeMarco Minor's coming in from Oregon State. He's going to be. I think he's going to be okay. They're going to need some of these young guys, man, like Amari Witherspoon. I don't know, Jay. Like I got to see it, and we shouldn't doubt. We talked to Coach Cable a couple off seasons ago, right, man? Like he's kind of surprised with, some of the talent he's able to bring in, and some of the things that he's been able to do on campus. But pretty tough projection here, man. It's just hard to be confident in any of these teams down here in the low tier, and we just know that it's top heavy. So you're going to have, our 4 or 5 teams in the high tier are going to be, racking up some pretty easy wins down here in the low tier, which is going to push a lot of these guys down, and it's going to be another unbalanced year, it feels like.
A lot of guards coming into the conference that are going to be depended on by their teams to distribute the basketball. You mentioned DeMarco Minor for Pitt, Lamar Washington transferring in from Pacific, and then Pasha obviously coming in from Delaware. One of those is not like the others in terms of the level of basketball that they were playing at the year prior. But regardless, coming into a brand new conference and figuring out, how to be that general on the floor in a new league can be tough for anybody. So we'll see if they can get it done. Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Stanford, Florida State, Cal, and Boston College, all down there in the low tier, the foundation, if you will, or the teams that stink, like Darren likes to call
That's a big foundation right there.
That is a very large foundation with a few cracks in it, and probably have to get some work done. Hopefully there's a warranty. Shout out to the live chat, keeping it rolling. Kinley, what's up? Good to see you again.
Oh, what's up, Kinley? It's been a while.
Dropping in. Has been a while. Good to see you in there. Shouting out, go Pack. Appreciate that. Darren, Mason, also hopping in the live chat here and there. Riley, of course, was in at the jump. Always good to see everybody in there. Why don't you hop in with the guys and gals and whoever it is in the live chat and just, drop a fire emoji maybe in there. Our guy at Nape C Hustle likes to do that sometimes. Who's pushing the buttons tonight? Shout out to Nape, doing a good job as always. Follow him over there on X at Nape C Hustle. Follow us at One and Done CVB. All right, that's the low tier, my friends. Good to see everybody as always. Of course, Nate, right on cue, my man. Good stuff. Dropping the flamage in there. And I think
we'll get some pushback on the mid and high tier.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Tell us where Jay's wrong.
Let us know. Yeah, of course. Let me know where I'm wrong. Yes, of course. But no, we want to hear it. Let's go in the live chat. We're going to flash it up in 3, 2, 1. I mean, I'm right there on your viewing device. 5 teams, as you see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Here come the comments.
5. We would love to see what you think. If you're doing some math in your head, you're like, wait a minute, there's some teams in the – hold on a second. Yep, and we'll get to all of that. But first, let's get to the U. 3-17 in the conference last year. So what's the deal, right? A mid team. It does feel like just yesterday that Coach Larrañaga was taking the Hurricanes to the Final Four, and now Jay Lucas stepping in, former Duke assistant a couple of years ago, right, is taking over the reins. And there's no doubt that he's done a nice job assembling talent, right? Trey Donaldson coming in from Michigan, one of the more underrated ads across the country. And the front court has some talented names like Indiana transfer Malik Renault and TCU transfer Ernest Uday, of course. Those are some some of the guys that at this level transferring in that you want to have on your side. Unfortunately, like the theme of the night so far, putrid outside shooting. 12% actually from 3 last year between the two. They don't complement each other at all. So It's
It
not
feels
like
it
this.
feels like Indiana all over again, like
We
Balo
see
and
it
like
so often. We saw it
it's the
at the
same
University of
thing.
Texas up the street from where we live a few years ago, won the portal, and it looks like all the talent in the world. And while they won some games, they never meshed and came together as a team. So with Miami, my talented freshman coming in, Shelton Henderson, Dante Allen to go with a solid backcourt. But I three, this is like a 10, 11 win team in the conference this season, which feels right for the mid tier. How about Clemson, Mike? The Tigers 18-2 last year. So again, we found Miami was 3-17. They're in the mid tier. Clemson 18-2 last year, but we have them in the mid tier. Brad Brownell was on the hot seat forever, but sort of feels like he's
He
gotten
was.
this program under control. They're a serious force, man.
Yeah, and I mean a step back here because I don't like how do they sustain this momentum? At least to be competitive near the top, man. Dylan Hunter's back. Everyone else is gone. I know Shefflin's playing football. He dropped a touchdown, I think, last week. That was really weird. He was trying to box out a guy in the end zone to catch a touchdown. Like that's legitimately Ian Shefflin. But yeah, I mean, all these guys are gone that they had all this momentum with over the past couple of years. I like Nick Davidson coming in from Nevada. I think he's gonna be a really, really solid player. 16 points, 6.5 boards, 37% from three. Outside of that, it's like a bunch of mid-major transfers, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and we just don't. I mean, it's tough to project a floor for these guys. So the floor is really going to come from what we like from Hunter and Davidson, what we've seen from this program recently. I think they'll be pretty solid defensively as far as a projection goes. Really, it's the offensive end where it's like, where's the ceiling going to come from? We got to see this offense 10 games into the season here. We got Notre Dame sitting here 8-12 last year, and Coach Shrewsbury has been waiting for his initial recruiting class to grow up. And well, we'll find out if it was worth the wait because he's been able to keep most of these guys. We don't have a question mark at point guard because the guy's pretty good. Marcus Burton. He can shoot it. He can score. He can distribute if he gets some better players around him. And I love the fit with Micah's son, Braden Shrewsbury. Like he shot 37% from three. Yeah, he's more of just a floor spacer for them. But I think when you put this kid, man, Jalen Harrelson, like right there at the guard wing with them, just gives them a lot of bounce to the game. He's a top 20 type incoming freshman. So I really, really like the three of those guys. The lack of ceiling. Why aren't they in the high tier? It's this front court, man. Northern Arizona transfer Carson Tout. Yeah, he averaged a double-double, but that's going to be a lot tougher in this league. How he performs is going to really make or break them. I feel like they also need something out of Kevin Jai, who he's going to be able to protect the rim a little bit, but he's got to give him a little bit more offensively. Like you got to get some spacing for these guys and be a little more dominant presence on the inside, man. So like the floor here, the question mark's kind of capping the ceiling here. I'm right there with you, Mason. Like Marcus Burton, I mean, he alone puts them in every single game if he can stay healthy, obviously. And then you got the floor spacer around him with Braden, man. Like it's a lethal backcourt scoring wise. SMU here, Jay. Hey, Coach Andy Infield, man. He probably wouldn't say it, but getting this program onto the bubble in year one of the ACC, a pretty nice feat for him.
No, it's nothing to shake a stick at. It's a very nice feat and something to be acknowledged. And then when you look at this backcourt now with Boopie Miller and BJ Edwards, I love a good backcourt that's been together, just coming back to run the show one more time, like just to run it back like an entire backcourt like this, and especially when they're this talented. Front court's also solid with Samet Yegatolu, averaged 10 points and 6.2 boards for them last season. And then the transfers of Sam Walters, got from Michigan, floor spacer that you're talking about floor spacers earlier. This is another floor spacer type, but this one for SMU. Corey Washington, Wichita State transfer. He's got that Mario Elliott and that junkyard dog that we like to see so much, man. Love a good junkyard dog, and that's what Washington's going to bring to the Mustangs. The depth is a major concern here, because that is when we start to get into all of this. It's freshmen, redshirt freshmen. Like, so if a few injuries hit, if the bug hits, it could go sideways pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Jaden Toombs, right? Another front court option, 24/7 had him ranked 38th in the country. So, for me, this is the tier jump candidate that I'm paying attention to in this tier. It's SMU, and for me, they're the ones that I feel like would make the jump up. I mean, they were right there, like you said, Mike, last year, right there on the bubble. Shout out to Coach Enfield for sure. And then Virginia, I was watching the live chat for a second as you were talking, Mike, and
it's Jack's kid. No, it's Jermaine O'Neal's kid.
And no, but Mason was saying like the old Virginia, the new Virginia is worse at defense and slightly faster and better at offense, which is extremely true. Like, I mean, that it is what it is. Like, that's just this isn't necessarily going to be the 361st team in tempo anymore, but good or bad. I mean, all right, Darren, you ready? Okay, Virginia talk, Mike. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I mean, you got Ryan Odom. He's been pretty solid coming up the coaching ranks, but a lot of people are gonna be high on this team. A lot of analytics places are gonna be high on this team. We've probably got a team up in the high tier that most people are going to swap with Virginia. We'll talk about in just a second as kind of my hot take for the year. And look, the backcourt, man, like Dallin Hall, he's just a solid player, but you kind of know what he is. Coming in from BYU to run the point. Jakari White scored a lot of points in the Summit League. The one guy that I'm really confident in is Malik Thomas from San Francisco. Like, that dude can flat out score. There's going to be some question marks around Hall defensively and if White can have any type of efficiency in the ACC. But that Thomas is going to be able to carry the load offensively for them. I watched a ton of games against tough competition. That guy was just getting buckets. Front court, major concern, man. You got this international guy, Thijs de Ridder, coming in from Belgium. Johan Grunlo, he comes in as well. Like, these guys have high pedigree. There's a lot of chatter about them being solid players. That'll certainly help the floor, but it's just kind of an unknown ceiling till we kind of get all these questions answered, man. Cam saying NC State hot take coming up. So, yeah, that's probably the one where people are going to – I don't know. I guess not the chat that seems to be okay with Virginia in the mid-tier. So I thought that would be the one that we would get some fuss about. But I'll wait till we get to the high tier and get some fuss about those teams up at the top, man.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that we're going to see. That are going to sort of bookend that high tier that I know we're going to drive some conversation, and we hope that you let us know all about it in the live chat. But for now, let's recap the mid tier: Virginia, SMU, Notre Dame, Clemson, and the U. Of course, the Hurricanes. Rounding out the old mid tier right there, and the live chat is heating up. We appreciate it. Good to see our guy Cam in there. CT Huggin, C Thuggin. Shout out to one of the OGs.
Shows up for UNC.
Yeah, well, he was going to be here for ACC night for sure, and he was telling us, he knows NC State's coming up, but not yet. They're not the first team that we're going to talk about. That that a little bit interesting here, but make sure you push those buttons, like and subscribe, as we get to that high tier.
Ooh.
Boom. It's Syracuse,
Mike.
What are your thoughts, man? There's some things here that maybe we're a little bit higher on than others.
Oh, yeah.
Around. What are your thoughts on the Orangemen and sort of why are they in our high tier right here on One and Done?
Well, I felt bad for the low tier being 8, so I figured we should even think now. I don't know, man. Yeah, Mason, I know exactly. I think they're gonna be pretty solid this year. Like Adrian Autry, 3rd year. It is JJ Starling. I get it, right? Less than 100 offensive rating. Not great, but he kind of knows what he is. He's very experienced. He's played a ton of basketball. He's got a lot more help and some pieces that fit around him. So, he's like this experienced isolation 2 guard. But look who he's had at point guard next to him. Judah Mintz couldn't really stretch the floor and was a downhill player himself. Jacon Carlos, kind of just a facilitator. He's not really going to punish teams. Wasn't really going to punish teams. We saw that last year. But here comes Nathan George from Georgia Tech. 12 points, 6.5 assists, shot 34% from 3. So he can facilitate, he can stretch the floor, he can get downhill. this is kind of a player that Darling hasn't played next to. And then you put Oregon State wing Nate Kings. He had 131 offensive rating last year. Was 25th in the country in a low usage floor spacing role. Like those are like the two pieces that I really love that fit to JJ Starling that make his game. It opens up the floor for him when he's in isolation. He's going to have more space to operate. He's going to be able to get downhill because those two guys can shoot threes. So yeah, it's not Chris Bell and Judah. Like Chris Bell's just going to stand at the 3-point in the corner and shoot threes. No, like, you know, he's got more options to open up. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm too high on it. And then you got the 5-star freshman Donnie Freeman coming back. Missed most of last year, but he was talked as a lottery pick before he was injured. So put up some nice numbers. Played in some really nice games for them. I think also I love Lampkin. We loved Lampkin. We loved his down low game. William Kyle is such an upgrade, and I don't know. I know UCLA had a ton of bigs last year. It's just hard for them to get him. When he was on the floor, man, he was effective. Low usage, rim runner, finisher, 70% around the rim, 9% shot blocking rate last year, 7% for his career. This is a pretty good, like, first 5-6 players that they got, man. Now, got a bunch of freshmen coming in, Kai and Anthony. They're going to be important for depth, man. So, yeah, I get it. As Mason, jumping in here. We'll see. This is kind of my hot take, man.
Well, Starling is obviously one of those players that it's not the prettiest.
Yeah.
But not all players are meant to be the ultra alpha carry a team across the finish line by themselves. Like having these guys around him will be great. Like it's going to be a lot easier to watch him play, I think. I'm not expecting him to, jump up into like the 125 offensive rating type range. Like we're
110, 115 would be.
Whew. Now you're cooking, and that's what it's going to take to get Syracuse right up here in this high tier. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can pull it off. And then Mike, we were there.
We were there.
We were there for Duke, man. Same old song and dance for the Dukies after squandering a big-time opportunity in that game against Houston. Lost a lot of talent, obviously, but it's just, it's a factory.
Yeah.
It's a factory. It is what it is. 5-star freshman coming in. And like last year, rotation pieces, veterans coming back. The Boozers are going to get a ton of love, especially Cameron. You're going to hear that name a lot. Anytime you're turning on a television, whatever 4-letter network or 3-letter network you're watching.
Cam hating already.
You're going to say, I get it. That's okay. But your Cameron Boozer is going to get a lot of love around just in general, and he should. Like, do you recognize the last name? If you don't, yes, that's the dad Boozer, right? Power forward, just like his dad. And then Caden, consensus top 25 freshman, his brother, like that's the point guard. So the cohesiveness between those two freshmen is already there. And that's sort of something that I feel like will just rub off on everybody else. What's nice for them, Mike, I mentioned it earlier, the veterans that are surrounding them. Isaiah Evans is going to be on everyone's breakout list, flashing scoring ability at times last year. Patrick Ngongba and Malik Brown, Caleb Foster, obviously in the backcourt there for Foster, all played those 10 to 16 minute type roles. Malik Brown, though, there's your effective weapon that when you got to have that defensive stop, get him out there and just cause a disruption. But he'll stretch the floor as well. So I like Malik Brown a lot. And Ngongba, sort of that man-child, right? We talked about dude would have started for 300-plus schools.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is what it is. 151 offensive rating, getting a break. And that's
pretty good.
And you know what else is pretty good that we've been talking about Duke for this long, and we didn't even mention the other 5 stars on the roster. Dame Sarr, obviously, Nicholas Kamenia. This is a squad. Is it a 19-1 type squad, Mike? I don't know if they can run that back in this conference. But it's going to be a fun one to watch. The talent is there. And you know who else?
Oh, boy.
You know
Here
who
we
else
go.
is here? It's UNC. Let's just let's fire it up. Fire up the bench for our guy Cam.
Oh
The
boy.
Tar Heels, 13-7 in the conference last year. Not without a lot of question marks, man, and
Your guy.
a lot of new faces in big roles for the hottest of all hot seats, in my opinion, every year because of who he is. It's Hubert Davis, man. And I mean, 13-7, okay, I get it, but you can't have another year, man, where you like somehow miss the freaking tournaments.
Yeah.
And they should have, we talked about
Yeah.
it earlier in the comments. That off of name recognition, it feels like alone
Yep.
they sort of got into last year. So it's not just a warm seat for Coach Davis, man. I feel like it's hot, but it's UNC, man.
Yeah, and I mean, here it is. Like if you followed us during the offseason, right? Like I know Cam. I want to know Cam's thoughts a month out from the season, how he feels. I know he wasn't that high on this roster. I wasn't. I mean, I'm still of all the teams up here. I had Syracuse, obviously, but Duke and Louisville, NC State, they feel like the highest floor, with the highest floor ceiling combinations in the conference. Man, look at this roster, man. It's kind of weird, kind of interesting, kind of intriguing. Seth Trimble, he's back. I think he's going to play a lot better without RJ Davis around. But he needs to be much more efficient this year. So we'll see what he can do. Colorado State transfer point guard Kyan Evans. The fit, I need to see it, man. I just don't know. Especially the size of these two guys in the backcourt. That's been a problem the last couple of years for UNC. Look, the thing that gets UNC fans excited is Caleb Wilson, right? 5-star, top 10 recruit, super versatile playmaker. He has to kind of live up to for them to reach the ceiling. I love me some Henry Vasar coming in from Arizona. I think he's gonna be a really, really good player this year. Probably going to start for them, obviously. And then Montenegrin wing Luka Bakovic, he's 22. He shot 40% from three in a very competitive international league. I don't think he's getting enough love, man. I feel like he's going to be able to space the floor for them. And he's 22, man. Like, he's not some freshman coming in here, right? The other guys
What's
that
the
they
difference
have,
for you, Mike, between an international league and like a team, like a guard coming in from like a Delaware or something like
yeah, I
that?
mean, it's
Like
huge. It's
right,
huge.
right,
Like the physicality, it's already there.
right.
Like, we've seen it in a top type league. So yeah, I feel very, very comfortable with it, man. And I've been reading some stuff lately, the last couple of weeks. UNC, they've been talking him up. So I like Jonathan Powell as a microwave off the bench. Jaron Stevenson, he's a floor spacer coming in from Bama. He has experience from Alabama. There's certainly downside with this team. The fit is a little weird on this team. And then your boy, Coach Davis, man, he struggled with some good rosters, man. But we're running up on time, man. We'll jump in. Got a couple more teams. Louisville. I mean, it's hard not to get excited about Pat Kelsey, man. ACC, hasn't been the same power, but a tremendous turnaround. A lot of upside on this roster, getting a lot of buzz. Michael Brown Jr. looks like a lottery pick already. He hasn't even played one college game. What are your thoughts here, man?
I think putting a guy like Mikael Brown Jr. next to Ryan Conwell and Isaac McNeely is about as best case scenario as you can get. Two of the veterans coming in that have done it at a high conference, at a high basketball level. That looks absolutely lethal on paper. And then Kelsey also signed star mid-major guard Adrian Woolley from Kennesaw State, where he averaged 19 points on 42% from three. Again, not saying that's going to transfer all over, but scorer is going to score, shooter is going to shoot, and that's what Woolley brings to the table. One of the best freshman seasons in the country, as a matter of fact. So something to keep an eye on there for Woolley. In the front court, Javon Hadley returns, 12.2 points, 7.3 boards. You can shoot it from deep as well. Stout defensively, which you like. And then we saw Pryor in a few games, but both guys sort of offer unique skill sets, right? They're going to battle German big Sananda Fru for the starting 5 spot. Big time floor nationally, right? We talked about a ceiling for UNC. And Cam in the chat was saying ceiling for UNC might be a Sweet 16. This feels like the ceiling, the talent is they could win this league outright. Could Louisville?
Yeah, it could.
And if you want to nitpick a little bit, it might be who's going to protect the rim. But they're going to have some big man to rotate through there, take up some fouls, do their thing.
Yeah, they're just more of hub fives when you have Khalifa and Pryor. Like they're just more of like those hub fives offensively. So we'll see if they can defensively they can hang.
Yeah, I mean, and when you're getting them back coming off of those season-ending injuries, like what's that going to look like, right? Is it all going to just? I feel like it will. Those are talented guys. So shout out to Louisville. Yeah, year 2 for Pat Kelsey. Get on board.
Get on the train.
Yeah, I saw that. I just got the Ohtani home run right there. I saw Darren commented on it. He's got the dual screens, one and done, and obviously got the game going on. Hey, I want to shout out before I move on to NC State, Ryan Osterman in the chat, our friend from Bracket Bids. Make sure you hang out with us. Always good to see Ryan in the live chat, giving me grief for my NC State or for my UNC hot seat stuff there because they did win that game in the tournament. You're right, Ryan. But it's good to see you, man, for sure in the live chat. Good to see everybody in there. Keep it rolling as we move on now to the final team, NC State, the old Wolfpack, another Wolfpack.
Oh, boy.
Darren told us that we were in his Wolfpack last night on the show. Okay, so it is what it is, man. It's Will Wade. It's exciting. It's winning. It's a winning brand of basketball. And until I see otherwise, I'm just going to assume that Will Wade is going to win games.
I mean, that's all he does. He just wins games. But there's a lot of talent on this roster. Somebody said they were going to be mid. Okay, all right. Like, let me talk you into a little bit of Darren Williams. He's pretty good. And, getting away from JT Toppin there at Texas Tech, but legit All-American candidate, 15 points, can get you some rebounds. You can run the offense through him, nearly 4 assists per game. You can do it all, especially offensively. So the pieces around him, I think, fit. I like Trey Holloman, 9 points, 4 assists, like very, very experienced guard coming in from Michigan State. I think him and Quadir Copeland, kind of a nice complement to each other. Copeland obviously with Wade at McNeese, but started his career at Syracuse, and actually in the DFS streets, I love playing that guy as a 6th man. He just knows how to attack the rim. So you got this downhill attacking guy. You got Trey Holloman, who's more of a playmaking floor spacer. So you got some options there as primary ball handlers. I love Terrence Arsenault. Just coming in from Houston, man. 1, the pedigree from Houston. 2, pretty sure he was number 2 on Evan Maya's defensive metrics. So that's pretty good. He's also a really good finisher in transition. And by the way, 81st percentile in spot up shooting. So that's pretty good. We'll take some Arsenault there, and then we'll see what Wade's going to do at the 5. He'd like to play small at McNeese, and you got Vin Allen Lubin, which we were all kind of surprised by that. He's not going to place the floor, but that's somebody that play different styles all the time in college basketball. So if you need a guy that's you can dump it down, is highly effective in the post, you love that. I like Jerry Dang. I know he's not a traditional 5 man, but no, he's not really concerned with traditional 5 guys. This is a guy that was 80th percentile in spot ups. I think he's obviously going to maybe struggle defensively. That's kind of what you give up when you get this other stuff, right, on the offensive end. So yeah, they got a lot of pieces. I don't think they're having any problem challenging near the top of this conference, Jay.
That's not Johnny Dang, the guy that makes grills down in Houston. It's Jerry Dang that's looking to make a difference here for the NC State Wolfpack, who are joined in the high tier by Louisville, UNC, Duke, and yes, that's right, Syracuse. Kinley loving the pack being in the top tier right there. Good to see Kinley. Good to see everybody, man. The live chat was
seriously
great
tonight.
Man. Always good to see everybody in there. Going to recap real quick. Syracuse, Duke, North Carolina, Louisville, and NC State in the high tier. In the mid tier, Miami, Clemson, Notre Dame, SMU, Virginia. That's right, Virginia in the mid tier. And then a very, very busy low tier, Boston College, Cal, Florida State, Stanford, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, and some probable tier jumper Pitt. I think we could call him that. We could call him that. Who knows? Why not?
The graphic was nicer this way, though.
It was very nice. So shout out to our guy at Fantasy Nav for getting the graphics in there. Shout out to Eric the Blue. Shout out to at Nate C Hustle pushing the buttons tonight. Shout out to you for hanging out with us, man, on ACC night, trying to shake that toy poodle reputation, my man. We'll see if they can do it. I feel like there's going to be some. I don't know that we're going to have a team that's going to win 19 and then 2 teams that are going to win 18. I feel like we might be a little bit more spread out this year. At least I hope so. At least I hope so, but we shall see. Mike, what do we got up? We got another show later this week before we go. What are we going to do?
Yeah, we got 5 left. I think the old Big East probably next on deck, man. We know people got opinions about the old Big East. So
yeah, we hope to see them. So Big East next up. So make sure you push the notification bell. It's not going to be on a live on a Wednesday. We're not going back to back to back like we have in the past. But we'll get you later this week. So make sure you push all those buttons to hop on for that one. Push all of the like and subscribe on YouTube, over on X at One and Done CVB, and make sure you follow my guy El Capitan himself, El Capitan, around these parts. MC Holland 34 on X. Mike Holland, shout out to you, Mike. Shout out to the live chat, Bob Boo, planting their flag, 6-bid league. We'll see. We'll see if they can get back to it. Make sure you follow us for DFS shows later in the season, news and notes later in the season. 4 more conference previews, man. They're on the way. The big ones. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I told you I wasn't going to do math at the start of the show, and then somehow I forced my way into it. Go Mean Green, Darren, and for sure. Go everybody that hopped into the live chat. We definitely appreciate you. We'll see you next time right here on One and Done. Until then, take care of yourself and tell somebody that you love them. My name is JayHeinrich. Come again. Peace.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.